My grandmother has been gone for years, but the boy said to his father, clearly,
Dad, Grandma says, can you turn up the heating? Her feet are cold.
Now, Perry?
How many times do we have to go through this, son? Your grandmother is dead!
I know,
Then why do you keep on talking to her?
because she talks back.
that excuse wasn't going to convince his dad. Even his sister laughed at him for not even trying to come up with a believable lie.
She talks to me all the time.
Oh, yeah? Prove it.
She said it's not very ladylike to hide photos of the high school quarterback with his shirt off in your underwear.
She immediately got furious. She didn't believe her brother's story for a second. She was convinced he had gone into her room. The boy's name was Jack, and he was known around town as the local weirdo. He would often talk to himself on empty streets, which made the neighbors gossip behind his back. Even his parents couldn't understand him, but when the camera turned to Jack's face, his strange behavior finally made sense. The street that had just been completely empty was now crowded with shadowy, flickering spirits. It turned out Jack wasn't crazy at all. He just had the ability to see the dead. This gift gave Jack fascinating new experiences, but it also caused him a great deal of trouble. He was always late to school because he kept stopping to greet ghosts, and to everyone else, he was just a freak. But this time, he actually saw his uncle in the toilet. Just a few days earlier, his uncle had been waiting for Jack after school at the gate, but Jack's parents thought his uncle was a bad influence and didn't want him around. Then, out of nowhere, his uncle died, and now his spirit floated around Jack all day. What Jack found even harder to believe was that his uncle had also been a medium and the caretaker of a witch's grave. Hundreds of years ago, an evil witch was put to death. To keep her malevolent spirit from returning, every year on the anniversary of her death, the caretaker had to recite a spell to appease her soul. The anniversary was just days away, but now that his uncle had become a spirit himself, he couldn't carry out the duty. He came to Jack and asked him to take over, but before Jack could even agree, a flash of white light appeared, and his uncle vanished. Jack was terrified. To him, just being able to talk to ghosts already made people think he was crazy, and he got bullied at school for it. Now he was supposed to be the witch's gravekeeper? His only friend, Fatty, was the one person who understood. He asked Jack if he could see his pet dog that had been run over. It had been crushed in half by an animal rescue truck and then buried in the backyard. Jack didn't know how to say no, so he just said he'd try. The two went to Fatty's little garden, where Fatty asked him a question. Do all dead people come back as ghosts? Jack wasn't really sure either, but his grandmother had told him that usually only those with unfinished business, or those who died suddenly or violently, lingered in the living world. Jack did see Fatty's dog in the garden. It still looked just as it had at death, even though Fatty couldn't see it. He still happily played with the dog.
Can he feel if I pet him? Yeah, I guess. Bubby wubby boo. That's not his chin.
And as they played, Jack started to open up to Fatty, and the two became real friends. But back at home, Jack paced anxiously in his room. He had no idea whether he should actually go stop the witch. Fatty came over to find him, and Jack told him about his uncle. But even Fatty, who usually took everything in stride, couldn't believe Jack this time. They parted on bad terms. Then his grandmother appeared. Luckily, Jack's late grandmother had always been there to encourage him. With her support, Jack gathered his courage and went to his uncle's house to find the spell he needed. But when he got there, he found the spell book right in his uncle's hands. To get it, he had to climb on his uncle's body and pull with all his might. Once he had the book, he ran all the way to the witch's cemetery. But what he saw left him stunned. There were 7 gravestones. He opened the spell book, but there was no incantation inside, just fairy tales. Just as Jack was at a loss, the school bully suddenly showed up and snatched the book. He had always enjoyed picking on Jack, and when he saw Jack heading into the woods alone, he got curious and followed. While the two were arguing, the sky suddenly turned dark. Countless green hands reached down from above, and the 7 gravestones exploded. As the ground split open, 7 zombies crawled out from underground and slowly advanced toward them. In desperation, Jack read the fairy tales from the spellbook, but nothing happened. The two boys ran for their lives, all the way back to his uncle's room. After looking through some materials, Jack learned that the 7 zombies were actually the judges who had sentenced the witch to death centuries ago. They had been cursed by the witch and turned into what they were now, and the witch's target wasn't even here. Jack had been looking in the wrong place. Just then, the zombies caught up, and the two boys fled in terror. Meanwhile, Jack's sister realized he was missing, so she went out with Fatty to look for him, and they ran straight into Jack as he was running for his life. They all jumped into the car and sped off, but to their horror, the zombies followed them all the way back to town.